Good evening, good evening. Welcome to episode 17 of the Wulong Talks podcast. My name is Jason, and as usual, I'm joined by my buddies, my partners in crime, Alvin, the big A, the man geek. Say what's up, man.
What's up?
And of course, the rusted kid, Richard. Say what's up, man.
I am high on painkillers right now. What's up?
Yeah, he's literally so high that there's a time delay on his on his voice at the moment. That's how high he is right now. Richard's on another plane. Hope you all doing well, and I hope you've been enjoying our podcast. As you probably know by now, but I'm going to say it again. All of our podcasts are available on various sources and formats now. So for those of you listening to us on YouTube, good evening. To those of you who are checking us out later on via SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher, thanks a lot for doing that. Don't forget, if you do listen to us on iTunes or Stitcher, to leave us a little review. That really helps for helping people find us and getting us out there. So please do that if you can. Okay,
Oh,
how you doing,
and
guys?
also,
How's the week been?
sorry, so I was gonna say, also like and subscribe, man.
Yep. Like and subscribe to the YouTube, please. Yeah, please do. Yeah, how you been doing, man? Like, what you been up to this week? You been up to anything good, Richard?
Yeah, I've just been chilling really. I watched what have I seen? I mean, we'll touch upon Legion and Walking Dead as standard. Yesterday I watched a film called Captain Fantastic with Viggo Mortensen and Frank Lagala, which is quite a good film. It's been on my list for a little while, and I managed to get the chance to watch it yesterday, and I was generally quite impressed. It was, I think it was a film that dealt with a topic that isn't really touched upon in society or film. And basically, it's a father whose wife passes away, and he has to look after his kids and how he looks after his kids. But I just like the fact that it wasn't just like a normal single mother again. Not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but I do feel that sometimes, certain genders or races aren't portrayed in a particular way. They always seem to go down one particular path. And I haven't seen a film in a long time where a male figure as a father has been portrayed in quite a good way, in a normal way, so to speak. But but the film is definitely good. I definitely recommend seeing it.
Cool. What about you, Alf? You been up to anything, man?
Yeah, I played a bit of the For Honor beta over the weekend, and it was extremely enjoyable. I thought it was pretty good, and I think it's worth probably blowing 40 quid on. I think it's pretty much worth it, even though there are microtransactions in there. It's not pay to win. It's all kind of like skins and that. So yeah, I think I'll probably drop 40 quid on that over the weekend. It's very skill based. It is quite hard. It is quite punishing. But when you win in a one-on-one, you feel like a fucking king. So For Honor's been pretty cool. So yeah, I'm actually quite looking forward to like spending a good few hours on it and doing the campaign and then just getting into battles and fucking taking names.
Yeah, cool, man. I mean, I've been looking. Well, that's definitely one of the games that's on the list. I've been looking out for that one. For those of you listening, I've been trying to get hold of a PS4, and I was saying to myself I was going to do it this month, but I have to do adult stuff like decorate my kitchen and decorate my bathroom, and all of that kind of stuff is the boring stuff that we have to do when we're pretending to be grown-ups. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. So I've had to push it back. But I pre-ordered a copy of Neo, which has arrived, and it's staring at me in the cellophane, and it's basically mocking me because I can't play the game. I got no PS4. So that is something I'm looking forward to banging out as soon as I can get hold of a PS4. But this week, haven't really done that much geeky stuff. I had wanted to check out the new edition of 24. I think it's called 24 The Legacy, but I didn't get around to checking that out. So I'll probably try and do that at some point over the week, hopefully, and catch up with that. Aside from that, I watched a movie called Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal, directed by Denis Villeneuve. I think is how you pronounce his name. He's French, so yeah, sounds like that. Um, the film is really, really, really weird. It's basically about split personalities and like the subconscious mind and how the subconscious mind projects things that we see and start to believe are really there when they aren't, and it's very, very surreal. I don't know why I've been watching so many surreal films lately. I spoke on the last podcast about the Neon Demon, and like now I followed it up with this one, and it largely just kind of leaves me a bit baffled. I just kind of feel like I'm not very smart when I watch these movies. But yeah, it was a decent watch, but there's a lot going on in there. What else did I also do? Oh yeah, I also watched the first episode of Roots as well, the new BBC co-production of Roots. I have to say, I don't think it's that good. Like, it feels like it's. I can't
What
put
is
my
it?
finger
Roots?
on what it is. Yeah, it's Roots. But it seems to be lacking something that the American show had. I can't really tell what it is, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not too sure about Roots. I don't know if I'm going to carry on with that. Plus, them kind of series tend to make me angry at white people, which is not a healthy state to be in. So, yeah, I'll skip over Roots, I think. But yeah, that's about it for me. Obviously, it was Valentine's Day this week as well, folks. So, I hope you all got spoiled rotten by your significant others, and if you don't have a significant other, then I hope you spoiled yourself, because that's the way it should be. All right, let's get cracking. So this week we saw the return of The Walking Dead. Series 7 continued on Monday here in the UK. I think those of you listening in the US got it 24 hours before us on the Sunday. So as I said, the series has started again, and it started with Rick and his community in Alexandria kind of trying to gather up forces to go up against Negan and to take them on. The episode, all in all, I thought was kind of patchy. I thought some parts of it were really good and other parts weren't so good. Some of the dialogue was really bad as well. And I was trying to remember if, when I'd read the graphic novels, if the dialogue was that bad. And I don't remember it being so, but yeah, there's just some of the dialogue and it's really cringeworthy. I just really didn't know what to make of it, to be honest. But Alvin, I'll start with you because you're the resident Walking Dead head here. So, what did you think of the episode this week? Your overall sort of impressions of it and where it's going.
Yeah, I mean, it was all right. You know, I mean, it was an all right watch. There was some cool bits in there, especially towards the end with that barbed wire between the two cars, and that bit was fucking awesome. But yeah, no, it's just seeing them like go around trying to get the other communities to kind of come together so they can create a bit of an army and go up against Negan. So I like where it's going. There was pretty much nothing really special about the episode as a whole. But yeah, at least we know kind of now as to what direction the rest of the season is gonna go in, and I'm just hoping it like kicks off near the end and just absolute fucking carnage. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, long-time listeners of the podcast will know. I mean, I've got a love-hate relationship with The Walking Dead, and part of the reason why I kind of drift in and out with that show is because they seem to take an extraordinarily long time to get to certain plot points, major plot points that in the graphic novels they kind of deal with very briskly and you know, they get to the point fairly quickly, whereas the Walking Dead TV show seems to love dragging things out for an inordinate period of time, and it seems like they're following or loosely following the kind of March to War storyline. So for those who've read the Walking Dead graphic novels, you'll probably be familiar with that. For those that don't, it's basically the point where Rick finally sort of snaps and says enough is enough, we're going to have to do something about Negan, and he goes around kind of gathering up forces to head into war with Negan, basically. But I'm just really kind of skeptical about the whole thing, really. I don't know how far it's going to go. Richard, are you making tea?
So I'm just about to ask that.
Nah, it sounds like I'm in it. But
Yeah,
no.
you put me on a cup.
I'm just. Pardon?
Are we boring you that much?
It's a fetish. It's a fetish. It's a fetish. No. I'm just sorting out my pasta. That's done now. I'll warn you if I'm going to do anything else.
All right, good. Good. Listeners, I'll make sure that he makes you a cup as well next time, yeah? But yeah, Richard, we were talking about this episode earlier this week. I mean, what were your thoughts about it?
Basically what you said. I mean, to tell the truth, the dialogue almost pantomime-esque. Like it didn't feel like it was even trying to push them like acting-wise or anything like that. Like there's a bit where I think they're trying to disarm the bombs from that barbed wire thing, and one of the characters goes to Rick like, Rick, look, and he just kind of like turns and goes, oh, we'll make it. But there was no sense of urgency behind it. It almost felt like just a lackluster performance. The episode itself was just a bit of a what's it called, man. It was, to tell the truth, just like, hey, we've been away for a little while. We know these people are going to come back. We don't really need to put that much effort into it because we know that we've got these people that are invested. That's what it felt like, and I felt that felt like a bit of a piss take. Like it wasn't really treating us as like the audience or viewer with that much intelligence. The other thing that I will commend them on, like Alvin said, it was the whole Bob Wire thing of like using like the WWF clothesline to take out the zombies with the two cars and the wire. And the other thing that I noticed was there was no appearance by Negan, which I think is good. Because I think he's easily the best thing in this show since season 7 started. But at the same time, you don't want overkill of a particular character. So I think the only time you hear of Negan is either when he's mentioned or when he's doing that radio show that you hear through the cars, which I thought was a nice touch, where it does kind of add like the type of power that this guy has, that even when he's not on screen, you actually you can hear him. Like he's almost like a force of nature that you really can't escape, and that is the one thing that is looming through the show, and you do feel it through the episode. But all in all, the episode was just pretty boring, to tell the truth.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, as I said, I feel like it's a show that likes to take its time, which is sometimes a good thing, but in other occasions it's detrimental to the whole viewing experience, the way it kind of slows itself down to focus on kind of character development and things like that, because some of the character development moments aren't really developing the character. But anyway, what do you think has happened to Father Gabriel, Alvin?
Well, see, at first I thought, he's fucking gone, you know what I mean? But it looks like he wants to be found. So, and obviously they think they know where he is. So I'm not sure as to why the fuck he did it, but I have no fucking clue. Like I don't know how that's going to help anyone. But yeah, wherever he's, I can guess where he is, and I reckon they're going to go there and find him. But I have no idea as to what reasoning is behind it. I have no idea whatsoever.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, his disappearance was kind of handled in a pretty good way. I think that was one of the better elements of the episode in general for me. So yeah, it does leave kind of like an interesting mystery hanging over things there. But what about death predictions for this season, guys? Who do you think is gonna bite the dust this season? Rich, do you have any guesses for who you think might go?
I genuinely don't know, but just quickly, when you're talking about the disappearance of Father Gabriel, you see when he's in the car, is there somebody sitting in the car with him in the passenger seat? That's what it looked like to me. Did anybody else notice that?
I didn't notice anyone else.
I didn't notice it, to be honest.
No? Yeah, like the
Because
silhouette, it looked like someone was in a car with him.
People had disappeared there. You know, when they were back at the when they were back Alexandria, where they're at the food store or whatever, where they store all the food, if they would know who's missing, it would be Father Gabriel and someone else. But they only mentioned Father Gabriel.
But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be somebody from Alexandria. That's what I'm trying to say. But it just looked like there was somebody else in the car with him.
Who's he interacted with outside of Alexandria?
Huh? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just telling what pardon?
No, go on.
No. I was just asking if anybody else noticed that, because just the way how, like I said, at first it looked like he was turning coat and just shitting himself and just like saying, okay, F it, I'm gonna, At first I thought he was packing his stuff and gonna run off to Negan, and then obviously when he left the note with the Bible saying I'm at the boat or whatever. So I was thinking that maybe he's actually working in cahoots with somebody. That's why he's gone there. Maybe he's got some inside information. I'm just saying that because I'm not a Walking Dead comic book reader. So I'm just telling you know what I can see on screen. I could be completely wrong. There might have not been anybody in the car. It could have just been the shape. But I just thought I just wondering if anybody else noticed that as well. But obviously they didn't, and maybe I was high on painkillers yesterday as well. So as for death predictions, to your original question, Jay, I don't know, man. I reckon they might kill off. Carol or Morgan, maybe. That'd be good. Good to see one of those two go, because they just kind of like just seem to be like plodding along. So you know they're going through this whole thing where it's like they don't want to do anything bad, you know, but they're always going to be pushed into that position where they have to go against their codes or their ethics. And I reckon that last final thing that they have to do will probably result in maybe one of them being killed. Like, you know, go out like a true good person. Because if they keep on doing this whole thing of like, I don't want to be a pacifist, I want to be left alone, that's going to get old real quick, because it's getting old. It's kind of getting old right now. So I reckon that it'd be good to let them, at least one of them let loose, and maybe go out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah, I suppose it's possible they could do that, throw a curveball. But I think with Carol, it could happen because she's long dead in the comics, long dead. So yeah, I mean it's possible they could, but Carol's proved to be a really popular character with the audience. And although they got rid of Abraham and Glenn earlier on in the season, I'm not sure if the fans are ready to take another like major death after that. So for me, I think possibly Sasha, because she apparently has been cast in the new Star Trek series, Star Trek Discovery. And apparently she's going to take the lead role as well. So I'm assuming that's going to take up a lot of her time. So there really isn't going to be much time for her to be kind of straddling The Walking Dead and Star Trek, I would imagine, especially if Star Trek gets like a full series commission. I know the lead writer of The Walking Dead was saying, you know, that we don't worry about the other cast members' side projects, is what he called it. You know, we can work around that. But personally, I don't see how in her case, if that's true that she is in Star Trek Discovery and she's the lead character, then I don't see how that's going to work. So yeah, I think Sasha might be one who bites the bullet. Yeah, Carol I guess is a possibility. Morgan, I don't know, because Morgan's still alive in the comics now, I think. I mean, I haven't read the last volume of The Walking Dead, but I'm pretty sure Morgan's still around. So yeah, that would be quite radical if they did kill him off. But his character is kind of one who I think is going to be quite key to this, because I think it will be his kind of turning around from his pacifist position to actually going into the conflict and say, you know what, we need to do this. I think it will be that kind of triggers Ezekiel to kind of get involved, and then things escalate from there. But I guess we'll see. Alv, did you have any thoughts on anybody?
Just the same one that you said, which was Sasha, because she's in Star Trek Discovery. So yeah, surely unless they're filmed at different times of the year, I can't see how she can be in both.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the kind of commitment that can work, but we'll see. Listeners, if you have any thoughts on who you think might die, then let us know on our social media and give us a shout. Yeah, we'll have the conversation. All right, let's move on. Well, we also had another big series come out, a new series start this week called Legion, which is based on the X-Men comic for people who know the character and for people who don't. Now, I didn't get to check this show out this week, unfortunately. I had a few tech problems, but Alvin and Richard did. So, guys, I'm going to leave it to you to kind of take it away with Legion and kind of tell us what you thought of the show and where you think it's going. But firstly, Richard, if you don't mind, could you just give like a little bit of kind of comic book context as to who the character of Legion is, or what it is, and what that means?
Yeah, I mean, basically, Legion is David Haller. He's the son. I mean, this is just off the top of my head from what I can remember. He's the son of Professor Charles Xavier, as in Professor X of the X-Men, and a lady called Gabriella Haller, and he's an alpha level, omega level mutant, I believe. And what it is that each of his schizophrenic personalities has a particular mutant power. So, like I said, if I remember correctly, I think the three main ones that he had, one was a pyrokinetic, so he was able to control fire. One was telekinetic, and the other one was maybe telepathic. Um, he's a good character. There's been pretty decent storylines written off the back of the character. So one of them was, the infamous Age of Apocalypse, in which he uses one of his mutant powers to travel back in time and try and kill Magneto, because he blames Magneto for his life going wrong, because it's him that he thinks it's him that's influenced Charles Xavier, and that's the reason why Charles Xavier was never a true father to him, and he ends up killing Charles Xavier by accident and creating an alternate timeline in which Apocalypse, give or take, rules half the world. So that was a really good storyline that was based off him. There was another one which came out a couple of years, not too long ago, a couple of years ago, and I think it was called The Age of X, and that was pretty decent. He's a good enough character, but he's just one of those ones that he's just a bit too hard to write. He reminds me, like, he's one of those that he's so powerful, and he's got so many different personalities that it depends on the writer writing him as to make him how crazy he is, how evil he is, or how powerful he is. So I think he's the type of person that's good to only bring in sporadically. Here's a little bit of trivia. Schizophrenic, son of Charles Xavier. Charles Xavier, played by James McAvoy, who also stars in Split, who also plays a schizophrenic, who also has each schizophrenic or each personality also has some form of different power. I just thought that'd be a nice little glitch in the matrix for you people that maybe haven't put two and two together and thinking that there are people out there controlling us ever so slightly, and they're dropping subtle hints and they're mocking us. But like I said, I'm high on painkillers.
I was going to say, you need to dial down on those painkillers. Alvin, what did you think of the pilot then?
I really enjoyed it. I haven't seen TV shot like this in forever. It's the only way I can describe it is like the way they did scene transitions in Scott Pilgrim. It's kind of a similar kind of thing as to what they do in this. Like, this show goes kind of like all over the place, and it's just very artistic. It seems like it's very arty, and they want to like create like frames and images with things, and it's set in like a pseudo 60s kind of vibe kind of thing going on. And like the first episode, you're trying to kind of focus a lot, because I didn't know as to who was real and who wasn't. I was like, look, are any of these fucking people real in this? But then it gets to a point where kind of things become kind of a lot clearer, and then kind of by the very end, you're pretty much aware of where you are. But I think with a show like this, that doesn't necessarily mean you are where you are. It's where you think you are. But we'll see as it goes on. But I'm looking forward to seeing the second episode tonight, as it's currently on Fox. So that when we'll finish doing this, obviously I'll give that a watch. But no, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very strong, very different from any of the current superhero shows that we've got. And yeah, hopefully it goes to a really interesting place, because some of these current shows aren't doing, because normally TV you just film to get coverage, and that's pretty much it, bar the occasional like really good effect shot. But this is very it's very different, and it's very confident. But yeah, overall I liked it a lot.
I'll tell you the thing that I liked about the TV show is I always like a story that, if you take away the title or place it in a different setting, like, you can still get the point across. In it as like, obviously it's tied to the X-Men universe, and they keep on saying Fox and so on and so on. You could easily remove all of those titles, all of those subtitles. Sorry, remove Fox's X-Men, or related to Logan and Wolverine, all that stuff, and it would generally just be a good show about a man in a mental asylum. That's what I find really amazing about this show so far, and that's one episode in, and that's also going alongside what Alvin is saying about it just being really well shot. The way how it's framed, the colors, the music is freaking amazing as well. Some of the soundtrack reminded me a bit of that whole reminded me a bit of like the Stranger Things type of soundtrack, of that whole synth type of music just playing in the background, a bit like John Carpenter. But I think that's what's amazing about the show so far, that it doesn't necessarily have to be a superhero TV show. It's just a well-written show, and given performances and a really good story.
Okay, cool. Have they mentioned mutants yet?
I think once.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
they
they
did
do.
in the first episode. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Okay. Cool. All right, that makes me feel comfortable then about watching the show. I just wanted to make sure that they actually were gonna, go there and start using mutants and not try to be too abstract. But I would say, from what I've read online, most people have kind of agreed with what you've said. Really, they've pointed out how unique the experience is and how it's so different to anything else from the kind of comic book genre that's currently out on TV at the moment. So it seems like the kind of thing that is really going to appeal to people and hopefully has staying power. I think it's written by a guy called Noah Hawley, who's the guy who wrote Fargo.
yeah,
Mm.
it is.
Yeah.
And Fargo, the TV series, is really good. I mean, the first season is good, but the second season is amazing. He's a really, really skilled writer, and he's good at kind of doing slightly dark, slightly twisted stories and characters that are very complex and have got layers upon layers to them. So I'd imagine if he brings any of that to Legion, it's going to be a unique experience for people. So cool. I'll have to add that to my list to catch up with this week. So I'll definitely check that out. Okay, let's move on. Alvin, you checked out John Wick Chapter 2 this week as well, didn't you? Did you want to
Yeah.
quickly just give us your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's fucking sick. Like, literally, just even when it starts off, you're gonna get so much action. Yeah, you're just not gonna. It's fucking. It's all mad shit. John Wick is just fucking mad. The first one. This one's, to me, I thought there's more action in this second one than there was in the first. Some people would disagree with that, but it takes its time. There's a lot of action at the very beginning, and then it takes its time to kind of like settle in, remind you of things, and then it gets kind of back into it, and you're in that whole fucking hit underworld of assassins and hitmen and all that kind of business. And there's loads of wicked bits. Like, I would love to be able to mention as to what they were, but I don't want to spoil it for you guys, obviously. But there's the one gross bit that you're going to see that's fucking amazing as well. But overall, the movie's just so freaking solid, and where it ends it's great as well. But it is such a solid action movie. Like, literally, I had so much fun just watching it. It was just hilarious. But yeah, wicked film.
Cool, man. Cool. Yeah, we're definitely going to check that out. I think what we'll do is, once you and I have seen it, Rich, we'll probably go and do like a spoilers review podcast.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just to kind of get some detail and to really kind of get our teeth into it. So yeah, we'll definitely do that. But folks, go and check out John Wick Chapter 2. Alvin gives it the 2 thumbs up. So go give that a look. All right, well, let's move on. There's another bit of news that came out this week as well. Apparently, according to rumors on the old interweb, Warner Brothers are negotiating with Mel Gibson to direct the Suicide Squad sequel. Now, as you guys know, I mean, none of us here are particularly big fans of Suicide Squad. But what's funny is that not too long ago, Mel Gibson did an interview and he was talking about kind of comic book movies, and he called Batman v Superman a piece of crap, I think it was. Or in fact, I think he even said a piece of shit. So yeah, he didn't mince his words when he was describing their properties, and yet apparently he said, if the rumors are to be believed, he's currently looking at the Suicide Squad 2 script and looking to see if it's a good fit for him. So question is a simple one, guys. Is this a good idea? Is this a good choice or no? I'll start with you, Rich.
Is it a good idea for him to, or would it be a good thing if he came on board?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would. Like, listen, I mean, I've always said that the thing about celebrities and actors and directors, producers, whatever, kind of leave what they've done in their personal life, or make it separate to what they're able to do in their day-to-day job, within reason. It seems like he's coming off this whole blackballing after those whole anti-Semitic drives that he went. Well, the little bad patch he went through a couple of years ago. But the guy knows how to direct a fucking film, mate. Simple as that. Like, we can name three. I can name 3 films, or probably even name a really bad film that he's done, which I think would still put him in good stead to to direct like any film, really. And I think he would be able to bring a really good grittiness to the Suicide Squad that was just missing. You know, I think he'd be able to. I think he'd be able to take it back to the actual Suicide Squad that we actually enjoy reading about. You know, like, I mean, I'm not too much of a Suicide Squad fan, but I know, like, I mean, you used to tell me about the stories where you'd be, you know, reading an issue and a main character would get killed, and that was it. Like, you would be shocked, but you know that's the job that they dealt with. Whereas as opposed to, like, you know, you're watching the Suicide Squad film and you see Will Smith in it, and you know Will Smith's not gonna die. You know Margot Robbie's not gonna die. So much so, you know that the majority of these people are not gonna die. That they add in this cameo character at the beginning who gets his head blown off. Like, don't insult our intelligence. And I think that adding in somebody like Mel Gibson as well, who's quite outspoken and quite straight to the point, he's not going to do a shit job. He will get it done and get it done properly. So I think him coming on, yeah, I'd gladly see him come on.
Yeah, I think. I mean, hey, look, whatever you think about the guy, and you know, I'm not necessarily going to come on here and defend Mel Gibson because, boy, like the things he's done. Well, we all know the things he's done, but I mean, as you said, Richard, the guy knows how to direct a movie. There's no doubt about that. And if there's one thing that the DCEU needs right now, it needs somebody who knows how to direct a movie properly and how to tell a story properly. And Mel Gibson can do that in spades. I mean, I haven't seen Heartbreak Ridge yet, but you know, it's given the reviews it's got, you would imagine that he hasn't lost any of that ability to tell a compelling story. You know, the one movie that popped to mind as soon as I kind of heard this news was Apocalypto, which was the one kind of set during the Mayan times. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that's like one of the best. Literally, if you boil it down to its ingredients, it's one of the best like chase movies you'll ever see. It's just like it's breathtaking from start to finish, and that's before you add in the cinematography, the effects, and everything else that they brought together on that movie. It's just it really was just an incredible experience. If you can bring, you know, 50% of that to a property like the Suicide Squad, then that's going to be an immediate massive improvement on what they've done previously. So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. Alvin, what did you think about this? Did you think Mel Gibson's a good choice as well?
I think it's an interesting choice, but I like find it difficult to kind of like, I don't know, try and see like his reasoning as to why he would be interested in such a project. Because to me, I always assumed he was someone who dealt more in realism rather than heightened realism or any kind of exaggerated realism. So I really don't know. I can't tell. I can't imagine it. That's the thing. Like, I'm thinking in my head, it's not that he wouldn't do a good job or anything like that, but would it fit in with what we already know the DCU to kind of be like in terms of look and whatnot and aesthetic? I have no idea as to whether I don't know. I just can't see him just doing a normal kind of big movie. Like, I thought he'd be more the kind of independent film kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a strange set of circumstances, as I said, given his quite vocal opinions of what they've done with the DCU's biggest film to date. So yeah, it's strange. I don't I don't understand how it's ended up in that situation, but yeah, it said. I mean, I think if he brings at least 50% of what he's capable of, then it's going to be an instant improvement, regardless. But yeah, it is an odd one to get your head around. But yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, like apparently the rumor says, if it's true, that they're in negotiations at the moment. So I guess over the coming days, we'll find out if Mel Gibson's going to be the next director to commit career suicide at DCEU. Ooh, did I say that? Sorry, I didn't mean to say that out loud. Sorry, DC fans. Okay, let's move on. So, and speaking of career suicide, we come to our next piece of DCEU news. So apparently a few of you listening might have heard that a film journalist called John Campion, who works over for Collider Movies, he broke a story on one of his regular internet shows that he had heard from 3 separate sources at Warner Brothers that Ben Affleck basically wants out of his contract with Warner Brothers and does not want to play Batman anymore. Nobody has officially commented on this. I be surprised if anybody actually does comment on this one way or the other. But apparently, according to Campia and these free anonymous sources, that is the case. So, guys, the question I'm going to put to you, and I'll put it to you first, Alvin, is what happens if Ben Affleck leaves the Batman?
I really don't think it matters, to be honest, because I'm pretty sure that there's 100 other guys that would like to take on that role. So recasting it, I don't even think that would really be an issue. I think Warner Brothers will probably want to kind of get the film done as quick as. So if he leaves and they're able to cast someone else pretty quickly, I think they're just going to continue ahead with the script that they've already got and then just put out the film. I don't, at this stage, I don't really think they're bothered about quality. I think they're just bothered about getting a picture to the box office, and then hopefully making loads of money, and then not being bothered about what critics or the public say in regards to ratings of the movie. That's what I think. I literally just think they'll just recast and not be bothered. I think the only people that'll be bothered are people who really like Affleck's Batman. But like, I mean, recasting a major character kind of in a franchise, the only one that comes to mind for me, obviously, is like with Ed Norton and what's his name, Mark Ruffalo, becoming the Hulk. That's it. But even that one wasn't even like a major kind of like, I wasn't really bothered. But this is Batman, you know what I mean? So, so I don't know. It would be quite jarring for people to see if that actually happens. But I kind of understand why he would do it, because with his last movie that just came out not being received so well, and you know everyone's always asking him about Batman. Surely sad Affleck is now pissed off Affleck, and like maybe that's the reason as to why.
Yeah, it could be, man. It could be. I mean, with this whole like situation, I mean, I've been talking to a friend of mine about this, and we've been talking about it for like the past sort of 2 weeks about the state of the DCEU over at Warner Brothers. And, you know, this friend was saying that it just seems like something is fundamentally wrong at Warner Brothers and whoever it is who's in charge of the DCEU there. I mean, we're told it's Jeff Johns, but frankly, I'm finding it hard to buy that. Yeah, I find it very hard to buy that it's him who's calling the shots over there. But something just seems to be fundamentally broken there, that they can't seem to keep hold of talent. Like talent just seems to want to up and leave. So I don't know. Anyway, Richard, what do you think, man, about this news, and where do you think it leaves the DCEU, I guess? And sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but it's just like you can't take this stuff seriously anymore, because it's just becoming a train wreck. It really is. But yeah, Richard, take it away, man.
To tell the truth, I'm actually, I mean, if it is true, I'm not surprised. Just for the simple fact that, like, I mean, I'm that guy that watches, you know, when someone comes out to make a new film, I'll watch the interviews, I'll watch the press, you know, the press interviews on whatever chat show and stuff like that, or whatever, like, you know, internet, you know, reviews they do. And that's the thing. All he ever gets asked about is the Batman franchise. The Accountant was good and did quite well from what I know of. He played that gangster. Yeah, I think that just got slated. And so I don't blame him. You need to take into account that if you're thinking about it, like, okay, maybe celebrity-wise, Ben Affleck isn't built for that life. Like, he's not. Like, the last time when he was like really, really in a limelight like that, he went through bad shit and then ended up, you know, getting with Jennifer Lopez and then being thrust into a different type of limelight. As much as he is a celebrity, he's you know, he's that guy who just wants to make films, and I think that once again, I reckon he was probably sold a dream by Warner Brothers, saying, yeah, you know, you sign on as Batman and you do your thing, and then he just completely forgot how much headache he's going to get and how much of a part of his life this is going to be. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's one of the things that pushed him over the edge, especially if you think about it, that they're kind of using him as the linchpin to build this DC expanded universe or DC cinematic universe off. As much as Superman still was the first film, like, everybody is more stoked about Batman. That the bat sells no matter what. Superman will always do well, but the bat sells is a proven fact since bloody, you know, 1989. You know, reinvigorated the franchise, or the character, should I say? So I'm not surprised that he's jumped ship if he has. Um, and then on top of that, like you guys have mentioned already, with Warner Brothers just wanting to make money, that's what it looks like. It looks like they just want to make money. So he probably, or maybe might have had like, a particular idea which he's always been saying, and then all of a sudden he's just done a big 360 and said that he wants to leave. That can only mean one thing. Obviously, you're not seeing eye to eye. So, can he be replaced? Yeah, I think he can be replaced. He played a good Batman. I don't think his Bruce Wayne was amazing. I don't think it was. I think so far is the best interpretation of Batman that we've seen now that we've had all these different types, and it's the closest to the Arkham games apart from, let's say, like the animated series. Is probably the best kind of Batman we've had in the past few years, in my opinion. Some people probably say Christopher Nolan. So I think that's what works in his favor. But is he the best Batman? Is he the best person to direct it? Is he the best person, to play the Bruce Wayne? That's still all up in the air. So that's probably a lot of headache, a lot of stress on his shoulders, man. So I'm not surprised he's kicked off.
Yeah. I guess we'll all just have to see. I mean, this news came like literally almost 24 hours after it was said that they'd found a director for the Batman, who's going to be Matt Reeves, the guy who did Cloverfield and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which I really love. And he's doing the new one, The War of the Planet of the Apes, as well. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on over there, but they really need to sort their shit out. They really do. Because it's getting kind of embarrassing. I mean, John Campion made an excellent point, and I know this again is going to piss off the DC fanboys, and I'm sorry, but it's true. Campion said, if you compare what is going on with the DCEU and compare it to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the most controversy Marvel will have had to deal with is Edgar Wright leaving Ant-Man, and that only happened because Edgar Wright had been working on the character long before the Marvel Cinematic Universe actually got going. And then once it got to a point where they were ready to do Ant-Man, the character and the type of story that Edgar Wright wanted to tell didn't really fit with the larger story that they were telling within the MCU. And that's where they parted company. But that kind of thing happens, a lot in Hollywood. It's not an unusual thing for that to happen. But that has been the most shocking thing they've had to deal with. Whereas with the DCEU, it's almost like, there isn't a week that doesn't go by without a story about somebody not being happy with a script, somebody not leaving a role that they were attached to, somebody, saying they were going to direct and then leaving after like 3 months of work, scripts being doctored. It's all, it all sounds like chaos. So as fans, we hope that they sort this kind of stuff out and give us the kind of characters that we want to see. But we don't really hold out much hope at this point. All right, well, that's going to bring us up to the section that I know all of you listeners have been waiting for. So if you've been listening for the past couple of weeks, you'll know that Richard, first of all, was grilled remorselessly by me and Alvin about his geekdom and the kind of things that he likes and he didn't like, and hopefully you all got a sense of the kind of guy that he is and what he enjoys. And last week it was Alvin's turn. Well, this week it's my turn, and I actually wish I had like the Mastermind theme tune. You guys remember Mastermind, the TV show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I had that so I could play it now. So I'm gonna step up to the plate. It's my turn. I can't dodge it anymore. So what's gonna happen now is Richard and Alvin are gonna ask me some questions, probably some pretty shitty ones. So I'm gonna prepare myself for that, and hopefully by the end you guys will learn a little bit about me as well and what I'm about. So Alvin and Richard, I'm gonna pass the mic over to you two, man. You guys do your worst. I'm gonna step up into the dock. You two take your seats in your judges' chairs, and I'll be ready, man.
Cool.
Right, you go first,
Alvin, you want to go
Rick.
first?
I just said
Okay,
you go
cool.
first.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Great
So,
start.
Jason, like you said, so we're going to ask some questions. We're going to get to know you. All right. If you could have any actor or actress play you, director direct the actor or actress in an autobiography of your life, who would they be?
Who would they be? Do you know who? That's a good one. I think
I know it is.
director. Um, Director, I think probably it would have to either be Ken Loach
Oh, wow. Okay.
or Spike Lee. I don't know which one of the two. Spike Lee, because he makes things look pretty and he does that tracking shot where like the camera pulls along on someone's face and that looks cool. Yeah, we'll go with Spike Lee.
Yeah.
Spike Lee to direct it, and who to play me? That's I think Adrian Lester actually.
Okay.
Adrian Lester can play me. Yeah, from Hustle.
Yeah.
He can play me. I see
Okay.
a lot of myself in him.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So just a brief breakdown of the reasons why. So Spike Lee, you obviously spoke about the tracking shots. So you think he your life as it stands so far right now?
Yeah, I think with if I was to look at my life from the magnificent day of my birth up to this point, I think his kind of visual style and the way that he tells a story with lots of monologues and direct shots to the camera would be quite clever, because I used to talk to myself like no end. I still do talk to myself every now and again. People think I'm crazy when they see me on the train, I'm telling you, but I still do it. And I think he favors that a lot with his kind of filmmaking. So that would probably work for me. So yeah, I think that kind of thing. And also because, as I said, he'd make everything look pretty. So even like the kind of bullshit and the stuff that I had to go through as well, he'd make it all look good. So I think Spike Lee, yeah, for he would be the guy. Ken Loach, I guess, because he's got initially I was going to say Ken Loach because he's very good at those kind of kitchen sink type dramas. For American listeners, kitchen sink drama is like an old term that we used in Britain to describe kind of low budget things that were dramas that were kind of told set in one room, usually in a council flat or an old dilapidated house, and had like few characters in it and just had lots of long dialogue scenes and things like that. And because I like kind of talking and getting into detail with things, I think that might have worked. But as I said, I don't want to bore people, man. And Spike would at least make it look cool. So yeah, it would be Spike Lee for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, nice.
Cool.
Right. This question: what cancelled comic book would you bring back and why?
Ooh, that's a good one. Cancelled comic book. Yeesh, that is a good one. You know what I'd bring back? I'd as much as I cuss this off in the Guilty Pleasures podcast we did, episode
I knew
3,
you were going to say this.
I want the Midnight Suns back. I want the Midnight Suns back. That's what I want. As much as it was shit, I don't care. I want it back. The Midnight Suns, for those who don't know, it's was like a kind of mini series, really. And it was a story told over several issues of Ghost Rider, and it featured Ghost Rider, Blade, Hannibal King, Johnny Ketch, Johnny Blaze, because he'd lost the spirit of vengeance by that point and it passed on to Danny Ketch. And he still had a gun filled with hellfire, which could blow demons in half, which was just like amazing. And yeah, they were basically just like this kind of ragtag group of demons and vampires and ghosts, and their job was to kind of keep all of the kind of creatures from hell from ripping a hole in the fabric of time and space and coming into our realm. And they'd also team up with Doctor Strange now and again as well, and with Jericho Drum too. And it was just awesome. Like the dialogue was atrocious, absolutely atrocious, but the visuals were so good. I mean, there was another Spirit of Vengeance character that they added, which was just called Vengeance. I don't know why. It was literally the most pointless character ever. It was some Italian American detective. His name escapes me now, but literally he'd get pissed off about some unsolved murder that case that he was working on and turn into vengeance and then go and like beat people up. and you'd be like, what? Like, you're not even making any effort with this. Like, like there's nothing. You just, oh, I'm so upset I can't have solved this homicide case. I'm gonna go crack some heads. And that's literally what he would do. But it was just brilliant, man. I loved it. I loved it. I loved all of those visuals. Plus, I was growing up. I read a lot of kind of like horror books and things like that. I mean, one of my favorite books of all time is Dracula, and it still is. Um, so it you know, I've always had a kind of interest in like gothic horror and things like that. And with the Midnight Suns, it kind of captured the best of both worlds for me, because it was that kind of gothic horror and that kind of gothic horror storytelling, but in a comic book, and in the Marvel universe as well. So it was like, you know, my mind was blown. So for me, yeah, it would have to be Midnight Suns, I think, is what I'd want back.
Okay, nice. All right, okay, thank you for that. Albert, you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Well, not exactly happy, because I kind of guessed that he would say that. I thought he'd pick something else, but yeah, I have to be happy though, don't I?
Okay, all right. Okay then, my turn. Well, this question is actually from one of our listeners, St. George. What's happening, St. George? Thank you for the question. And it is, what is your favorite piece of geek memorabilia and why?
Favorite piece of geek memorabilia. Hmm. You know, it's funny because I was gonna say the three katanas I've got on my wall, but
Mm.
actually, no, they're not my favorite. My favorite piece, and this is really soppy, everyone, so grab your hankies. But my favorite piece is the Bowen bust that Richard bought for me, which was it's actually Black Bolt, the leader of the Inhumans. It's a really, really detailed piece. People who know kind of like the Bowen work. I mean, maybe some of you who are listening don't know, so I should probably just explain that Bowen is a company that make kind of busts of comic book characters. And they're busts that you can buy and display in your home, like statues and things like that. Um, and this particular one is just, it captures kind of like Black Bolt's stoicism perfectly, and you know, there's a kind of like a quiet determination to the actual statue when you see it. The way that it kind of it captures Black Bolt's character so perfectly is really just mind blowing, considering it's just a statue, but it does it, you know, brilliantly. And on top of that, it was really cheap as well and worth a lot of money. So that always adds a bit of extra incentive for me, because I'm a bit of a skinflint, as those who knows me will attest to. But yeah, I think the Bowen piece that I have is really amazing. So yeah, I think that's the one for me. Definitely, yeah. The Black Bolt statue is brilliant. Plus, he's the leader of the Inhumans, man. I mean, you can't get better than that. Right, you really can't. So yeah, I think that's the one for me.
Okay.
Cool.
Are you happy with his answer, Richard?
Yeah, I'm happy. Listen, you know me, I'm vain.
Have you
Anything
picked up
that
your
kind of,
buying skills?
yeah, and anything that involves me in any way, like I'm happy with that, man. The vanity is kicking in. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was Jason's birthday present. So yeah, man.
Right.
I'm
Well,
appealing, I'm appealing to your vanity, Your Honor, and hoping that it works. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all right.
considering that we always say negative things about the DCEU on this podcast, I think it's time we actually say something positive. So, Jason, pick one: BVS or Suicide Squad, and actually say as to what elements you enjoyed of whichever one you picked.
Oh, Jesus. Crikey. I think that's tough, man. um, God, if I had to pick one, you know what? if I had to pick one of the two, it would have to be. It would have to be Batman v Superman, probably just purely because Wonder Woman's character. Because of Wonder Woman's character, I think it's probably the one thing that I kind of enjoyed in that movie was Wonder Woman's depiction. Like Gal Gadot, I was not happy at all when she was cast. I was like, what the hell is this? You know, I really, because all I knew her from was the Fast and Furious movies, which she's beautiful, but she stinks the place out. So when she was cast as Wonder Woman, I was like, my God, what are they doing? Um, but when she actually came on screen for the first time at that party at Lex Luthor holds for whatever reason, I can't remember now. But when she first appears in her first scenes with Bruce Wayne in that party, she actually really kind of captured a part of Diana Prince's kind of inner strength, her sensuality, her kind of determination, and you know, she actually really kind of embodied that well within that short space of time, and she didn't trip over her dialogue. And I was like, okay, like she's actually surprised me. She's done better than I would have thought. Her introduction in towards the end of the film as well is really well done, so I've got to give Zack Snyder credit for that. Her theme song just is the shit. Like, it's dope. Her theme song is just the best theme song I've heard for a character in ages. So yeah, I'd have to go with Batman v Superman. And that really pains me because I do really like the Suicide Squad. You know, I think I've mentioned it before on previous podcasts, but it's, you know, one of the comics that my granddad gave me before he passed away was his Suicide Squad collection by John Ostrander. And you know, I really love Suicide Squad, and Suicide Squad was something I was really looking forward to. So I think when the movie actually came out, I think it kind of crushed me, really, just as to how bad the film was. Whereas at least with Batman v Superman, instead I could look at it and, you know, as terrible as it was, Wonder Woman kind of was the one, you know, solitary positive that I could take from the movie. So yeah, if I had to choose one, it would have to be Batman v Superman. But that obviously means I'm gonna have to sit through fucking 2.5 hours of gobbledygook in order to get to the bits that she's in. But yeah, so be it, I suppose. So yeah, Batman v Superman it is, I guess.
Fair enough. Cool. Richard, what are you putting in the oven? Why are you dropping baking trays and that?
Isn't it?
Oh no, that's me just tidying up the kitchen.
Putting chips in. Do some chips.
If you need to hire Richard to clean up your house and make you tea or anything like that while we're recording podcasts, I'll put his details down at the end so you could call him up and he can come.
I charge extra for the maid outfit, just to let you know. Just putting it out there, man.
Dude.
Nothing in this world is for free. I'm telling you.
All right, who's next, man?
Okay, so well, it's obviously just gonna be me because since I haven't asked the last one. Okay, right. So the question I'm gonna ask you two ways, and you can pick. I'm gonna be nice to you. I'm gonna give you a choice. If you could have any sidekick or or partner to watch your back, who would it be? So that's the first one. Or you can be any sidekick or partner to anybody else, and who would you choose to be your mentor?
Okay, so right, so I can choose one out of the two questions. I can either choose who I would want to watch my back,
Yeah,
or who would I follow? So who would I be the sidekick for? Is that what you're saying?
that is correct.
Okay, cool. Um, hmm. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Um, that is a really interesting one, actually. Who would I? You know what? Actually, can I be the sidekick for somebody?
Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I want to be the sidekick of Detective Tequila Chen from Hard Boiled. I'd probably end
you,
up dead very quickly
I was just about to
because
say that.
that guy ends up in gunfights for fun, but it would be a blast. Basically, for those of you who haven't, who don't know what I'm talking about, there's one of my favorite directors is a guy called John Woo, a Hong Kong filmmaker. He's very famous, particularly from sort of the early 90s when he started to make what people refer to as gun fu movies, which were basically kind of action movies with lots and lots and lots of guns in them. One of the kind of classics from his body of work is a movie called Hard Boiled, which stars my uncle Chow Yun Fat as Tequila, and he's just basically like John McClane, but if it's possible to be cooler, then cooler. Um, and he just shoots people for fun. Basically, he like his guns never run out of bullets. He can like dodge bullets. He can fly through the air, catch two guns, and fire them at the same time. It's like it's just cool, like so cool. Um, so for me, I would love to be his sidekick. I'd be like the kind of, you know who I'd be? Rich,
Yeah.
will remember this joke. Rich, I'd be like, you know, John Travolta's sidekick in Face Off.
Oh shit.
Like we'd be speeding down the streets of Hong Kong. Like he'd have the siren on, he'd have like a whiskey in one hand, he'd have a bloody fag in his mouth, a toothpick on the opposite side, driving the wheel, and I'd be holding on to the inside, going, "God damn it, Tequila, you're gonna get us killed! You can't play chicken with a goddamn lorry!" Ah.
Yeah,
And then I'd
yeah.
walk into the middle of some blazing gunfight, and then said I'd probably get shot first time out anyway. There you go. But at least it would give him motivation to then go on and go into some spectacular shootout in a hospital or something like that and kill thousands of guys. So yeah, that's what I'd do. I'd be his sidekick if I could, because it'd be a laugh. Why not? Shooting guns while flying through the air is fun, people.
In slow mo. In slow mo.
Yes,
Don't
in
forget
slow mo, with doves floating around in the background as well. There's got to be doves.
that.
You ready for the next one?
Yeah, man, I'm ready. Shoot.
Okay. In your many decades of gaming,
Mm-hmm.
what game has given you the greatest satisfaction when completing?
Hmm. Hmm. That is wooey. That's a tricky one. Um, that is a tricky one. Yeah, that is tricky. But you know what? I'm gonna go old school with that. Because there's some games like I've played that have been like a lot of fun, but then when you've got to the end, it's kind of like not lived up to the hype, really. No. In fact, you know what? I'll go with a modern one instead. Well, fairly modern anyway. Um, I'll tell you what game gave me the most satisfaction recently, that I completed. Not recently, but fairly recently. Sleeping Dogs.
Oh, you clocked it.
Yeah. Sleeping
Really?
Okay.
Dogs. Yep. Got to the end, finished it, was super happy. The reason being, I got like, you're probably going to tell by these answers anyway, listeners, and those of you who know me will know this already, but um, I'm a real big fan of like kind of Hong Kong action movies and um, the kind of themes and the kind of culture around it. And Sleeping Dogs is basically like a love letter to those kind of movies. It combines kind of martial arts and big shootouts, chases, and all kinds of things. But also it's really, really clever as well in terms of the way that it does it in the gameplay and stuff. Anyway, I got completely sucked into the story of that one. I was determined to make Wei Shen get revenge, and eventually I managed to get to the end and to face Big Smiley with his Scarface. And I managed to batter him and beat him up, bang up his crew. And at the end, I got made a red pole. I got made a real life Yakuza. Sorry, not Yakuza. Oh, that's a big faux pas. Triad. Sorry, any Asian listeners, Triad. So, yeah, I got made a Triad, and I was like, I'm an actual Triad now. Like, I sat smiling like an idiot, like I'm a real life Triad, like I could go to tea houses and and order tea and smoke cigarettes in the corner of the room while scowling at everybody. Like, you know, the feeling I got from it was just amazing. So yeah, I think for me that has to be probably the one, I think. Although honorable mention will probably go to Super Mario Brothers 3, because that's a real game that I absolutely love. I don't know what it is. I think it's the fact that you get to play Mario in a raccoon suit, and like that just tickled me for some reason. I don't know, but yeah, Super Mario Brothers 3 was probably a close second. But yeah, Sleeping Dogs, I think. Yeah, that gave me the most satisfaction, man. As said, I was a red pole, man. Like, you can't beat that.
Okay. Is that it? Is that it for questions? Alvin, in fact, Alvin, are you happy with the answer?
You have 6 in total, yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with the answer, yeah. But I was surprised Sleeping Dogs, though, because, like...
Yeah, so was I.
You know what I mean? It's just like, not that I've not played it myself. I was interested in playing it back when it first came out, but like I've never heard anyone really big it up before. But yeah, you sold it to me. Maybe I'll get it on Steam when it's on sale at some point.
Oh, I imagine it must be on sale by now, because
it's probably on sale now. You probably get it for like $3.99 or something.
Anyway, but you can probably get it for like £2 at Christmas, innit? So just wait until then.
Jesus, it's tight ass. Bloody hell. Well, wait till
but there's no point. No. I've got like 30 games on my PC that I've not even fucking touched yet.
Listen, don't try and justify it, bro. Don't try and justify it.
I just justified it. I did. It's time, mate. I ain't got time to do that.
It's not time. Listen, if you've got 30 games now...
Why am I going to buy it and then not play it, mate?
Yeah, but if you've got 30 games now and it costs £2 and you buy it, you're still not going to play it.
You can carry on, because you know what? You're high anyway on these fucking antibiotics, yeah. So you're talking, you don't even know it. So you know what? I'll let you continue.
Yeah, you're hating.
Back. No,
you're a hater. You're a hater.
I hate. Look, man, you're using your microwave, yeah. But there's a podcast going on, right?
I'm using. I don't use microwave.
No, man, don't use microwave.
You know what?
We're supposed to be doing this podcast.
I'm using the cooker. I haven't used a microwave in over a year. So I just say, you know.
There's beeping, mate.
Yeah, you know what? We're live on air. Let me say this now. When the next time you come to London, I'm gonna bust your head.
If you can reach it.
Oh my.
Have we still got enough time for some more questions, or should we move on?
I think we better move on, really, because we've still got a little bit to cover. Well, how many questions is it? Is there one more question, or?
Raven, do you have another one from?
No, I don't have another one. No, I asked all mine. Well, I say all mine. One of them was not mine, but 2 of them were.
Yeah, we can fit in one more, Rich.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds. Let me see if I've got one. I'm gonna go silent.
2 seconds.
So you guys can nap between.
What?
Oh, I thought you had. No,
Richard.
No, it's there. No, it's there. It's there. I just need to double check it.
Because I thought you had something ready now, and that's why you were asking.
Somebody has sent it to me, but I thought they were only going to do 6 questions.
No.
Are you going to let me look for it? Are you going to let me look for it?
No. Let's move on.
Okay. Let's move on. Yeah, let's move on. Screw both of you. Let's move on.
This guy's unprofessionalism is on another level.
Cooking, cleaning, making cups of tea.
Another level. Anyway,
listen, man. Let's move on. Don't judge me.
So, Rich, you did have an audience question that came in this week from us. So, did you want to read out the audience question for the week, and we can?
Am I allowed to look for it?
No, you're not. You should have it ready. I told you.
Yeah, it's in front of me now. Yeah. Okay. So basically, this is from Pavel. Thank you very much for the question, Pavel. And I think this is kind of timed perfectly. Of what with the Legion starting and Logan just around the corner. But basically, there was said if you could reboot the X-Men franchise, what would you guys do different? And that's for things like the cast, the storyline, the villains, and you know, maybe obviously like what they've done with other franchises, like, you know, the Marvel or the DC, which kind of characters would you like to see have their own standalone to maybe help build the universe? So that's quite a big question, but I think between the three of us, we could all answer that.
Yeah, we can all have a stab at it. I mean, first things first for me is make an actual X-Men movie. That means not spend 70% of the story with one character, but actually spend some time with all of them. You know, the appeal of the X-Men to people who are comic book fans was the fact that there were many characters that they could attach themselves to. You know, there were different because each character was treated with the right amount of screen time, and sorry, not screen time, but the right amount of dialogue, and was just given respect because of who they were. It meant that, you know, everybody, if you ask, get a room of 10 people, you know, it could quite feasibly, each one of these 10 people could give you a different character that they say is their favorite. And the reason for that, as said, is because, you know, the X-Men are treated as individuals, whereas with the previous movies, all they did was focus on Wolverine and whoever else happened to be popping off at the time, whilst everybody else was relegated to side characters. So yeah, I mean, initially for me, that's what I would do. What I'd love to see is a return to like what they did in the comics as well, where they split the X-Men in two in the early 90s under Jim Lee, and I think it was Chris Claremont who first did it, where they split the teams into two, like to X-Men, what was it, X-Men Blue and X-Men Gold.
And Gold, didn't it?
Yeah.
Blue and gold.
Yeah. See, I'd love that. I'd love them to split them into two, because then that way you actually get the opportunity to kind of spin off into different franchise movies. So you can have X-Men Gold movies, you can have X-Men Blue movies, and then you can bring them back together and do an Avengers style X-Men story. So something like that for me works. For characters to get a franchise, Storm, because I think she's just criminally underused. It just woefully underused, and she needs to be used better. So Storm for me, and she has an interesting story as well that people keep overlooking. So yeah, Storm is definitely a character that I would love to see introduced in there. And for villains, I really don't mind as long as I get Mr. Sinister. You know, he's one of my favorite comic book villains, and I can't believe nobody to this point has even attempted to do anything with him because he's so interesting. So yeah, that's me. Alvin?
Yeah, if I was to reboot, I actually wouldn't want it to be a film. I'd actually want it to be a TV series, focusing kind of more on kind of your main original five. Maybe we'll throw in some other characters from later on down the line in there to start off with, to get a bit of the old diversity quota in there. And I'd actually set it in the 60s as well, like X-Men First Class, but like I said, with the original characters, and probably kind of be more influenced with kind of really early X-Men stories rather than the later crazier stuff, just to kind of just give it a different feel, different vibe, but still, you know, have it be kind of familiar as well at the same time. In terms of kind of standalones that I'd like to see, I'd like to see kind of like Bishop, but like done in a kind of 12 Monkeys kind of way. You know what I mean? It's like obviously
that's
comes
really
back
good.
to the
Yeah.
past, and everyone thinks he's kind of fucking nuts and all this business. And like, I don't know, say for example, he's the first time traveler the X-Men have ever met or whatever in the film, and so like they're not sure if they believe him as to whether he's just a crazy mutant with powers or as to whether he's legit telling the truth or whatever. That's probably what I'd want to see.
Rich, how about you, man?
Let's say for the team, I would really like to see like an X-Force team, and I'm talking like you know the recent X-Force where Cyclops kind of had, you know, used them as like the Black Ops type of team that dealt with let's say risque missions that if people found out that it was mutants that were participating in it, it wouldn't help make mutants seem any more likable, and you know, to the average person walking on the street. I would really like that.
Isn't that what they're doing now, though?
That's what they're doing now, but they haven't done it yet. That's number one. Number two, it hasn't come out. So that's what I would like to see. I would like to see the franchise rebooted with that. Because obviously, we've already been introduced to characters like Cyclops, Jean Grey, Professor X, and everything. So we could have maybe another brief introduction to those characters. But they could come in their own little franchise that comes off this. I'd rather like to see the X-Men taken into a completely different direction. Into what I've been saying about maybe, even though the 60s has been done, but spreading it out over over a TV show, we can really delve into the characters. So I think if I was to go with a TV movie, I'd make it just balls to the wall and just really, really hardcore. And in that way as well, I mean, you could also have Deadpool in there, which would help expand the X universe as well. Or a standalone, just one-off character having their own movie, I think would go with. That's actually really, really hard one. Even choose. I don't know. I've actually drawn a blank, a complete blank. Because they've got a multitude of characters, and I'd like to see somebody that's been, but to use them right, if you get my meaning. So Jason, you said Storm. I think Storm would be that'd be an amazing idea. But obviously that's your idea. What I would do? I would do a Gambit and Rogue film, and have it like a duo, and maybe have them doing like a road trip type of thing. Maybe just chasing something or running away from something, and just seeing what they get up to on a day-to-day basis, and what it's like being a mutant. From two opposite sides of life, just operating on a day-to-day basis, and it just shows what they do when they're not, battling an apocalypse or fighting against Magneto. I'd have something like that, something that would be able to appeal maybe to the people that like to do some fan fiction and have two characters, fall in love and do whatever they need to do. Something different hasn't been done before, and plus make those two characters appear like how they should be. None of that Taylor Kitsch stuff, or that rumor of Channing Tatum playing him, or Anna Paquin playing Rogue as a 13-year-old. Just treat them like young adults, and what young adults do when they're traveling, and they just happen to have powers as well.
Cool, fair enough, man. Well, thank you for the question, Pavel. If any of you ever want us to answer specific questions, then you can always hit us up on the social media. We'll let you know how you can do that towards the end of the show. And speaking of social media, that brings us to the question of the week. This is actually becoming one of my favorite spots. We've only done it once before, but it's actually quite enjoyable to see the diversity of different people's answers that follow us on social media. Anyway, this week I put out the question. The question was, who was the first TV character you had a crush on? And as I said, we had a whole range of answers to this. My answer was Chitara, because she was just foxy, man. I'm sorry, I don't care if she was a cartoon character. Chitara is hot, and nobody will tell me any different. And it turned out she was quite popular as well, because we had on Instagram, we had my boy K So. He said Chitara as well, as did Gorhor Effect said Chitara as well. So yep, she was popular. Alvin, we didn't get yours.
That way would have been Chitara, to be honest. That's the only one that I can think of where it's it stays with you forever, innit? You know what I mean?
Hold on, Alvin. I thought you said Panther. Did you say Panther when we were talking about earlier?
You're funny. No, you fucking knobhead. I never said that at all.
Okay.
You said it, though. You're high. You don't even remember saying it.
Yeah, okay. You said you want a big, strong guy. Wearing braces.
Yeah, why not? Forget it. Yeah, tight pants, whatever.
Let's go through people's answers. So shout outs to all of these people as well. Big yourselves up, and thank you for interacting with us, man. We love it when you do that. So we got let's see, who else did we get? We got from the Alex Stein podcast, Danny Tanner from Full House. Liz Diego said D'Artagnan. Dean, the Blue Gooner, said Tila from He-Man. On Facebook, Kieran said Samantha from Bewitched.
Good shout.
Tia said Agent Dale Cooper from Twin Peaks, or Uncle Jesse from Full House, so she was being greedy. Colleen said Jason Priestley from 90210, Beverly Hills
Fucking
90210,
hell.
that is, or Angel from Buffy. Dion said Denise Huxtable. Oh, yes, give me some Denise Huxtable. I'd second that. Wumzum from the Broken Elevator podcast, Wicked podcast, he said Jessica Rabbit. Good shout. Lovefood.com said Captain Caveman. Mr. O said She-Ra. Zena said Crockett from Miami Vice.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's the loafers and no socks, man. It gets
Yeah. Pastel suits, bro. Pastel suits.
Glenn and Her podcast said Daphne from Scooby-Doo. Marquita said Raphael from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Jonathan said Queen Vanda from Sport Billy. Bloody hell. Like, if you know Sport Billy and you're a listener, congratulations, you're old as fuck.
Thank fuck, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Sport Billy is old, Alvin. It's
old.
It started in like I think 1981 or something like that.
Oh yeah, so yeah. I totally
old.
know.
Nazia said Crying Freeman. Ben said Warrior Princess, Cena Warrior Princess, sorry.
Okay.
I said Starsky from Starsky and Hutch. And Richard's sister, Kentama, said Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell. So yeah, those were people's first crushes. So I hope you all felt appropriate feelings when you were thinking of these people again and thinking of the question.
Yeah, you didn't say mine. Why didn't you say mine? Why didn't you say my crush?
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed you out. Go and tell the world, man.
How did you miss me out? You would just get on me about having the information in front of you, and you've got the list in front. Do you not have a list in front of you?
Yeah. I missed you out. Do you want to tell the world
over
what
it.
your answer was, or do you want to just argue over the podcast for the last 6 minutes?
But no, I'm just making a statement. I'm just making a point. I'm just saying what you got on me about. So there you go. So ask me the question.
You're digging your own hole though a little bit.
Oh, no. Basically, my first crush was a lady called Jodie from a TV show called The Fall Guy. And like Jason said about Sport Billy, if you remember The Fall Guy, then you're old as fuck as well. And it was just the white t-shirt, the white tight wife beater, and the short shorts and the blonde hair. And like, yeah, it's like I'm actually, as I'm talking about her now, I can actually remember her. And yeah, she gave me different type of feelings at that age, mate. Like, so yeah, Jodie from The Fall Guy. Anybody who doesn't know her, Google her. Anybody who doesn't know anybody on this list, Google them. And then just wash your hands.
But thank you everybody who participated in that. We had a lot of answers for that one. So clearly we hit a nerve with that one. And as said, we're going to keep doing it. So follow us on social media. We'll put out the question of the week at some point next week. And if you want to get involved, just leave a comment with your answer to the question and we'll read it out on the show and give you a pick up as well, man. So yeah, thank you for interacting with us. It means a lot, man. We enjoy it. It makes us feel that like we're not talking to ourselves, you know. We know there are other people out there who are listening and we appreciate you, so thank you. Okay, well, we're coming to the end now, pretty much, aren't we? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think we should knock this thing on the head, really. So before we go, Richard, did you want to give any big ups, shout outs to anybody or plug anything?
I think I mentioned them last week. One Page Comic. They're on Facebook and on Instagram as well, and they're basically got 7 different comics, but each comic is only 1 page long, and it's a self-contained story. So yeah, that's got some really interesting stories and really interesting art as well. So I'd say go give those guys a peep and show some love. And on Instagram, The Real Day Walker. The world's #1 Blade fan. We've seen him at quite a few Comic Cons. He's currently, not battling against vampires, and which is against the Big C. Anybody who doesn't know what that is cancer. I myself have lost a couple of family members to cancer, so it ain't no joke. I mean, apart from being a massive Blade fan and really good at cosplay, he's just a really, really cool guy. Like I said, so run over to his Instagram page and go show him some love as well, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. Fuck cancer, man. I think we can all agree on that. Fuck cancer. Alvin, anything new going on with you?
Yeah, well, just rendered a new video.
Oh, I think we might have lost Alvin there for a second.
Oh no.
Yeah, we just seem to have lost him. Sorry about that, listeners. Well, I'm sure he would have said that he's working on Blue Milk, which is
Hello?
his YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
he's back.
Oh, he's there. Okay.
Right. Sorry, I don't know what the fuck happened there. But yeah, no, I was going to crack a joke, but it doesn't seem appropriate after what Richard said because we got all serious for a second. But no, yeah, I've just been doing what I usually do. So yeah, I just rendered a new video on that, which I'm uploading soon, and it's stupid and blah blah. Yeah.
And that's for Blue Milk, isn't it? That video, yeah.
Kind of, but kind of not.
Okay.
It's kind of a review, but then it's kind of not. I mean, when it's up, you'll see it, and then you'll be like, "What the fuck was he thinking?" But yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, if you want to check that out, then head over to Alvin's YouTube channel. It's called The Mank Geek. If you are listening to this on YouTube, then if you go to our channel and look in the featured channels list, you'll find him right at the top. You can click on that there, and then you'll find his channel from there, and you'll be able to watch it. But I'll normally share it across our Twitter as well and things like that when he does it on. So if you want to follow us as well on Twitter, then make sure you do that, and we'll let you know what's going on with what Alvin's doing. So our Twitter handle is @WulongTalks. As I said, I'm trying to kind of get a bit better with the Twitter. It's been a quiet couple of days for me. The last couple of days, I haven't really tweeted much, to be honest. As I said, I'm doing grown-up stuff at the moment, and nobody wants to hear about that. So I'm trying to keep that to a minimum on Twitter. But I will be tweeting again over the weekend. So definitely, I'll put some things out there. I'm hoping to try and catch John Wick Chapter 2 at the weekend, and the Lego Batman as well. We didn't have time to talk about that this week, unfortunately, but I'm going to try and check it out. And
Well, does that mean I have to go and see that?
You don't have to see it. I've seen it, and Jason will probably see it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to. If you're gonna talk about it, I'm probably gonna have to see it. It's just that I just didn't want to be that grown guy in a kids movie. You know what I mean? Just sat there surrounded by children.
Go rent a kid, bro. Go rent one.
Yeah.
Go rent a kid.
Have you got any friends that have got kids?
You know what? I'll do a Mr. Bean and I don't know, get a child-sized mannequin or something and just dress it up.
Yeah, that can work. But still, me, I have no shame. I've no problem going to a kids movie by myself. I really don't. And all the mums look at me weird, and I'm like, what?
Go, it's Batman, innit?
Yeah, exactly. I don't give a damn. So yeah, no problems at all. So yeah, we'll check that out this week, and what I'll do is I'll put some reviews up on the blog as well. So don't forget, you can catch us on the blog at www.wulongtalks.com. We should have some new content. I'm hoping to put up a new martial arts movie madness post over the weekend as well, so have a look out for that, and that will go up on there shortly. Okay, thanks a lot, guys, for tonight. It's been fun. I hope you listeners have been able to learn a little bit more about me, you said. Rich, do you want to let people know where they can get you at if they want to cuss you off for your highness on the podcast?
Yeah, basically on Instagram, you can catch me at Rich Reviews. On Twitter, you can also catch me on Rich Reviews. And then obviously we've got the website, www.wulongtalks.com. And then we've also got the Instagram, which is at Wulong Talks as well.
Cool. And Alvin, where can people find you, man?
You can catch me on Twitter and Instagram at BigA85GL. There is a link to my blog, but I actually don't write on it anymore because I'm fucking lazy. But maybe that might change at some point. But yeah, there's all the weird shit I've written on there. So yeah, you can check that out if you want.
Cool, wicked. All right, listeners, we'll go and check out Alvin's weird shit on his blog, and maybe he'll write some more weird shit. So you know how this thing goes. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up, man. Thanks a lot for joining us tonight. We hope you enjoyed this, and we hope that after these last couple of podcasts, you know a little bit more about us. And we'd love to know more about you as well. So, if you want to get in touch, shout at us on social media, or you can hit us up on email as well. We have an email which is wulongtalkspodcast@gmail.com. So you can always hit us up on there and send us your questions, your comments, anything like that. All right, that'll do it. Let me say goodnight and go and have a drink because my throat is dry. Say goodnight, Richard.
Good night, Richard.
And say goodnight, Alvin.
See you later, innit?
All right, peace. We're out, people. Laters.